Hi, my name is Wang Lixun. I am an associate professor in the Department of Linguistics and Modern Language Studies. I teach undergraduate courses and also supervise doctoral students. Today, I would like to share two most important aspects of my teaching philosophy using two letters, M and I. M stands for motivation. I believe that motivation is the key to effective student learning. If students are not motivated, they will not learn well, or some of them will not learn at all. But how do we motivate students? I follow three principles to make learning real, meaningful, and fun. Real means that we should use real, authentic materials. For example, even I teach the same course every year, I never use the same materials year after year. I always try to update the information in the course materials and use the most up-to-date materials, the most real materials. Meaningful means that the materials should be meaningful to students. If students are just memorizing a lot of facts that seem meaningless to them, it's very unlikely they will remember those facts and they will not learn effectively. So what I want to make sure is that they can learn something that they can actually apply in their lives, and then they will remember it. Finally, we must make learning fun. Okay? Everybody wants to have a bit of fun. That's human nature. Look at this very simple term, conversation. What does it mean? It is an exchange of information between people. The general pattern should be, I speak, then you speak, I speak, you speak, right? It doesn't always go like this. When I talk to my wife, it's like she speaks, and I speak, right? So how to make the lessons fun is very important. Okay? In my lessons, I try to use humor, okay? Try to tell some jokes. Quite often to Asian people, it may be hard to make fun in a formal situation, not like the Western people. But I observed some of my Western colleagues, and I found that that kind of Western humor is very effective in lectures especially. So I started trying them out, and I found them very effective. So I think nurturing an enjoyable learning environment is the top priority in my teaching philosophy. The letter I stands for innovation. Innovation is related to motivation as well. If we want to motivate students, we need to innovate. Nowadays, innovations are related to technologies a lot. All students are digital natives. They were born surrounded by computers and mobile devices, and they feel really comfortable when engaged in computer technologies. So I am a big fan of educational technologies, and I use them a lot in my teaching. For example, I ask my students to do Wikibook projects. In this project, students work in groups to write chapters for an academic textbook online together, and the draft is available to all other students, and they can comment on the draft chapter online. This really encourages online interaction, and the students can learn a lot from each other through the technology of Wikibook. More importantly, I give students plenty of room to exercise their creativity, as they can choose whatever they wish to write in their chapter. By the end of the course, the whole class will publish an academic book online together, which will make them really proud and lead to a lot of satisfaction. Here I follow the PICRAT model of technology integration proposed by Kimmons. Students shifted from being passive to being interactive to being creative, and the teacher also shifted from simply replacing traditional materials with technology-based materials to amplifying students' learning activities until eventually transforming students' learning. In the past 2 years, our university has been promoting blended learning, and I have developed a couple of MOOC-style video lectures in one of my traditional courses. MOOC means Mass Open Online Course. MOOC-style video lectures need to be attractive and interactive. If they are not, it's unlikely that students will be engaged and they will lose interest after watching the first 2 minutes of the video lectures. In order to produce very high quality MOOC-style video lectures, I tried many different methods. For example, I did role play in a video studio, acting out different scenes with just me playing different roles in the scenes. Through post-production video editing, students could see me interacting with myself, dressed differently in different fun scenarios, and they really enjoyed my acting. Hey Tim, would you like to have dinner together tonight? How about the Japanese restaurant? What do you think? Come in! Oh, Professor Zhang, what a pleasure having you here in my office. I'll talk to you later. Would you please take a seat? Like some coffee? Okay, now the scene changes. This time it's my close friend Tim who comes into my office. So what about the new Chinese restaurant? What do you think? Come in. Yes? Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Bye. Hey Tim, what's up? So you can see that in these two different scenarios, first time when the president came in, because he has a lot more power over me, so I have to react like in a very polite way. I address him very formally, I invite him to sit down, I put down my phone immediately and focus on him. I even offered him something to drink. So that's the way you talk to someone who has a lot more power over you. But the second time, when my close friend Tim comes into the office, because we are very close to each other, the solidarity is close. So I didn't stop the phone call, I finished my phone call, I put it down, then I talked to him in a very informal manner, like, what's up? Now let's look at another example. This time I'm in a restaurant having lunch with a friend. But after I finished the lunch, I suddenly realized I didn't bring my wallet. Beer, please. Oh no, I forgot my wallet. I'm so sorry. Do you mind paying for lunch first? As soon as we get back to office, I'll give the money back to you. Sure, no problem. Thanks so much. How do I look? You look great. In this example, you can see that when the husband saw his wife wearing this new dress, he was actually a bit shocked, meaning that he didn't think the dress suits his wife very well. However, he changed his expression and said, "Oh, you look great." You can clearly tell that he is actually lying. So in this case, he broke the maxim of being true. Okay, now let's look at another example. Has anybody seen my new iWatch? Yes, it looks so cool. In this example, you can see that the man lost his new iWatch and he's asking his family members where it is. But his son answered, "Yeah, it looks so cool." Well, this answer is not relevant to the question at all, because his father didn't ask him whether the watch looked cool or not, but he wanted to know where it is. So here he has broken the maxim of being relevant. To conclude, when carrying out a normal conversation, we should follow the 4 maxims of cooperative principle. Be true, be clear, be brief, and be relevant. In the next segment, we will introduce the topic of politeness principle. I did a post-online lesson survey after one of the online lessons, and 100% of the students strongly agreed that the online lecture was attractive and helped them in understanding the lecture topics effectively. When designing the online learning, I included 3 levels of activities. Level 1, resource-based activities. For example, the online video lectures themselves. In the last video, we talked about the difference between semantic meaning and pragmatic meaning. Well, pragmatic meaning depends totally on context or situation. Language is always used in context for an intended purpose. So, from the examples we have studied, can you think of the elements that are important for context? Well, there are 6 key elements of context: who, where, when, what, why, and how. Who? We're talking about the speaker himself. Is it a child or an adult? Is it a male or female? Is it a black person or white person? Is it a lawyer or a doctor? Are we talking about husband and wife or mother and son? Do they belong to working class or upper class? The next element is when, the time. Does it happen in the daytime or nighttime? Are we talking about now or past or future? Is it before a meal or after a meal? Where, that is the next element. Does it happen indoor or outdoor? Does it happen at home or workplace? Does it happen in the city or countryside? The next element is what. What is the topic of the conversation? Are we talking about business or leisure? Are we talking about sports or health? Are we talking about science or arts? Next one is why. Okay, why are we making this conversation? Are we making a request? Are we trying to persuade someone? Are we informing somebody or consulting someone? Or are we making a threat or warning someone? Finally, the last element is how. How do you speak? Do you speak calmly or excitedly or angrily? Do you speak in a soft voice or a loud voice? What kind of facial expression do you put on your face or body gesture you used? Level 2, response-based activities. For example, the online quizzes attached to each online lecture video clip so that students can check their understanding of the content of the video lectures. Level 3, collaborative activities. For example, online discussion forums were created for each segment of the online video lectures so that students could interact with each other and the tutor and discuss interesting points introduced in the lecture video clips. To conclude, a teacher should incorporate a lot of humanistic factors in their teaching. If you can put a smile on your students' face while they are learning, it's far more likely that they will fully engage in learning and achieve the learning outcomes that you have set for them. Also, innovation is key to effective teaching, so always prepare to try something new. Perhaps you will fail at the beginning, but eventually you will succeed, and students will really appreciate that. Thank you.